What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hard Hat Highlights. This is where myself and Jason kind of go over one or two things that we've learned during the past work week. And then Jason has scoured the internet for all the latest trending and quirky headlines and topics that are out there for us to kind of unpack and throw our 2 cents on. This podcast is hosted on our YouTube channel called Glass Guy, GLAZZGUY. We would be very thankful, especially on this week of Thanksgiving, we'd be very thankful if you subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. But without further ado, Jason Ryback, how the hell are you?
I am doing great. Although I do feel a little defeated. Made a little boo-boo last week and took some heat for it.
I like it.
I have to come out and make a correction. I do feel like I'm on The View because they do make corrections all the time. But that being said, we did a little piece on the NFL and Uncrustables, and math, which tends to be one of my good suits, was not very good last week. And I said that $2.4 million had accounted for 2.4% of Uncrustables' $1 billion profit. It actually is 0.24%. So I want to formally apologize for that, and I think most of you will understand this. And for those of you that don't and still want to beat up on me, have at it. But just remember, mistakes happen. Just ask your mom.
If
but
not,
I do want to put it out there that we are sorry for generating some misleading information. We all know how that can end up. We just came across a misleading post this past week. I showed you the.
Oh, wait. I want to stop before you talk about that misleading post. I think it's very admirable for you to take time publicly and apologize for something that you did, which was obviously clearly just an oversight mistake.
Yeah.
But I will say, out of the hundreds of posts that you and I have done over the last 6 or 7 years, that one received a lot of comments, which begs the question, should you be making mistakes more often? Because the viewership was up, the engagement was up. I don't see how this was a bad thing, other than if potential customers say, geez, I can't do business with this guy, he can't even do basic math. It was on $1 billion. I mean, I don't know how many people are out there doing mathematical equations with billions, even though that word comes up a lot more lately. I think a lot of people don't really understand how much a billion really is. But I just wanted to add that.
Well, I think it's funny that you say that because I came across something a couple days ago where this guy put this post out and said, you know, my wife wants me to clean the garage and look what I did. And he turned it into like this beautiful workshop. And at the end, he's hanging all the tools up. They're all fucking Ryobi. Oh. So what do? I immediately go to the comments.
And so guys they weren't saying, wow, what a transformation in your garage. They were saying, what the fuck, you got piece of shit Ryobi tools?
Literally every comment was about the Ryobi tools. But then I came across one, and it really made me think. Guy says, relax on the Ryobis. All the influencers use them because it spawns all this engagement because people are commenting on it.
So
it makes total sense.
Influencers that could be making wall art out of pallets, which is, you know, taking a wood pallet and making it into this beautiful piece of furniture or something.
Yeah.
Would be something that you'd want to talk about. But if they see him cutting something with a Ryobi saw, instead of acknowledging this piece of art that he just made, they're banging on him because he's using a cheaper tool.
Yes.
All right, So we need to buy some Ryobis, and you need to make more mathematical mistakes.
Perfect.
Let's go. So what's the misleading post that you saw?
Yeah, I sent this to you, a local company, which I'm not surprised because we've seen that.
Yeah.
They actually have used some of our photos in the past and, you know, put them off as their own work.
This guy's a scumbag. I know who he is. He's a competitor. And matter of fact, when you sent this to me, I immediately Googled the name of the company. And the first thing that comes up when you Google, you know how in the margin sometimes they'll show some pictures that maybe are cached to them or they're part of their website. The first picture I saw was a job that we did.
Of course it was.
There wasn't any other glass in the picture. It was this biparting doors for a very high-end customer of ours This person stole that picture and is using it in their advertising. It's extremely misleading. So that this post, which I hope you explain to everybody, is not out of character for this person, but people should realize that you should always do your due diligence. Maybe go in, see if they have a showroom, meet these individuals, see how credible they are. Because if you're just buying everything on site that you see on social media, you could really be in for a surprise.
That's right.
Especially based on the post that you saw.
Yeah, make sure you educate yourself. This post was a set of impact rated hurricane sliders.
Yep.
And it was obviously during the middle of a hurricane, and there was about 5 feet of water crashing up against these doors. And it read, if you want, I'm kind of just paraphrasing it, but if you want to keep your home dry, these are the sliders you need. Like, okay, so you're telling me that there's no other openings in the entire house where water can come in, A, and B, you're telling me these doors are airtight? That ain't happening.
That is not happening.
Now, we know very well that these doors will hold the weight of the water.
Yes, and maybe slow down the intrusion of the water.
Right.
I had that at my house. It was 4.5 feet outside and maybe 18 inches inside.
Yeah.
But it slowly got up a lot higher, so it slows it down, but it doesn't. You shouldn't be selling it as if you want to keep your house bone dry, you have to buy our impact rated systems.
What made it even crazier is that I went and looked at some of the interactions, and a few of the likes were by a designer and some builders that we do work with. So that makes you think, okay, so they're seeing this and going, oh man, the next house I build, I got to use these because it's going to keep the water out.
Well, imagine if you don't use social media that much and you're not tied into it as much as we are, you might see a post like that and think it's 100% credible. Maybe you're looking for something like this, and then boom, all of a sudden there's a post for what you're looking for. And you're like, see, it can be done. This guy posted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should always do your due diligence. And check out and do your research. Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure you educate yourself. And if you're a contractor, make sure you educate your homeowners as well. We just came across something this week where the homeowner could have been better educated, but we did come through and help them on it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
This is one of those stories where 5-10 years ago, if I got this phone call, I would have said, listen, this obviously what you're explaining to me isn't what you think it is. This isn't our problem. This is just a maintenance issue, and I would have been done with it. That doesn't breed long-term collaboration. So when this person called, we had stainless steel railings that we did 316 stainless steel, but it was on the water. It was prior to the last 2 hurricanes we had this year, Helene and Milton, and it developed surface rust, which you actually educated me on. In the industry, kind of goes by the name of rail rust.
Yeah, rail rust or rail dust. And basically where that comes from is all the old rail cars, when they would transport things across the track, the little tiny particles of metal and other debris would kick up and then would get onto the product, and then it would rust.
On the rails.
On the whatever product it was carrying, or the cars of the train.
Yeah.
Particularly, I think it started with the automotive industry when they would bring cars themselves.
So that's exactly what this was. And what happened was we installed these stainless steel posts and glass and top cap before the hurricanes that came through here in October. And there's still construction going on at the house. So now you have a house where there's a lot of dirt being thrown up in the air. They're cutting the wood out back for the deck and the dock, and all that's flying up in the air. And then you have the salt water that's landing, on the stainless steel. Then you had the hurricanes. And so when the homeowner saw it, he said, this is unbelievable. They sold us some cheap, metal, must be from China. And then, of course, the builder, trying to tackle all the other issues at the house, just calls us in a panic. It's like, hey, the homeowner thinks these are bad railings. They're rusting. This is not good. And so, of course, we went down. I ended up going down there the next day with a product called
CitraSurf.
And by the way, CitraSurf, if you'd like to be a paid advertiser on our Hard Hat Highlights, we'd gladly accept. But I took
CitraSurf. You can get it on Amazon.
CitraSurf with a terry cloth, and used a little bit of elbow grease, and cleaned up about a 4-foot section of railing, all the posts and top cap, restored it perfect, back to new. And then I brought the builder up and, went through the whole exercise of educating him. I know this appeared to be rust. This was actually just rail rust, surface rust. And here's the reasons why he came here. This restored it. He was ecstatic. He was actually anxious to get back to the customer to relieve him that he didn't make a bad purchase. And the unintended consequence of handling the situation, I believe the way we did, is now it gives the contractor even more confidence in using us as a subcontractor, because let's face it, every single tradesman is going to have problems. What separates the herd are the tradesmen that actually follow up when there is a problem to help rectify it, to make the life easier for the contractor and homeowner, which we did. So I'm happy that we went down and fixed this. I'm not happy it was a situation, but I am happy that we fixed it to help strengthen our relationship. So I actually think it was what they call a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think they realized that not a lot of subcontractors will do that, and they were very thankful.
Yeah.
Speaking of thanks, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And Thanksgiving dinner might be a bit awkward for Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield and his family.
Why is that, Jay?
Baker has filed a $12 million lawsuit against Camwood Capital, which is headed by his father, and his brother is also a partner. Apparently, throughout his career, he's used them to financially advise, and they've gone into his personal bank account and taken out money and used it to pay expenses for other companies that they own, particularly payroll expenses. So I guess this came to light sometime last year, and in January, they tried to settle it amicably out of court, and part of that settlement was that they would agree to pay back the $12 million, I believe, with interest, and they would also give access to Baker and his wife, Emily, access to their financial records for the company. Neither one of those happened.
They haven't paid back, and they haven't given access.
That's right.
Something smells funny.
Yeah, dad's fucking them over, and now they're going to court.
That sucks. Like, when you're dealing with that kind of money, obviously people can change.
Right.
But the person that you probably don't expect to fucking stab you in the back more than anybody would be a parent.
Yeah.
Or your brother. And the fact that both of them conspire to pull a shot on their son and brother is sick. I mean, you know how hard it is to make it. What are the odds for a person to even make it to a starting position in the NFL? And then now to even sustain a career long enough to have $12 million to put away into a bank account to be stolen by a family member, it's got to make you sick to your stomach. It's like, I could die. He could literally end his career on the next play.
Yeah.
And have nothing coming in. And the money that he had saved up and put with the people that he thought he could trust the most fucked him over. That's sad. Shame on Baker Mayfield's father. You bastard.
I mean, you hear that happening all the time, like, my dirtbag cousin or, my best friend. Very rarely the parents. I can think of one other time. It was Jack Johnson, NHL defenseman. But, yeah, for a parent to do that, that's just the ultimate betrayal.
Almost makes you want to have a cocktail.
It'd take a lot of drinking to attend that family dinner.
Like some tequila?
Perhaps some tequila. Santo Tequila, the company founded by Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar. I
drive 55?
Well, he would have to drive a lot faster than 55 to catch the 2 trucks that were stolen from his company. In a $1 million heist, 2 trucks were stolen with 24,240 bottles of tequila on board. It was like something out of a movie. 24,240 bottles of tequila.
This would put it somewhere around $40 a bottle.
Man, you need to do the math next time. You're absolutely right. About $41 a bottle.
$41 a bottle. Where the fuck are you hiding 24,240 bottles of tequila?
So hear this. There's not a lot of detail on it, but what they believe happened was that it was part of an organized crime cartel, and there were 2 different carriers that were illegally double booked for this load. So once they came across the U.S.-Mexico border, they had 2 other trucks where they took and they offloaded it onto these 2 trucks and then just took off.
Organized crime, like the mob?
Yeah, the mob or you know,
Cartel?
MS-13 or cartel or whatever the hell is going on down
Let's
there.
say it was the mob. I like that better.
Yeah.
So they stole or conspired to steal 2 full truckloads of this tequila from wherever it was coming from.
Yep.
That has a value of roughly $1 million. So Fieri and Hagar obviously probably have insurance on this, so they'll get their money back.
Yeah, but think about this. The distiller, it's a family-owned distillery. So they're kind of partnering in with this family-owned distillery. So now they're the ones that are really going to be hit the hardest because of all the labor they're going to have to put in because the holiday season's coming.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's not like it's mass-produced in some factory.
That's just, I just would never think, someone told me the other day they had their car stolen. And I didn't, with all the technology that's ingrained in these cars, I didn't even know that was still a thing, that people would still be stealing cars with all the GPS and information that's in these cars and how easy it is to find them. But to steal this much tequila, how do you end up turning that into cash is beyond me. But obviously someone did their...
Goes to a warehouse and then they say, hey, look what fell off the back of a truck.
Literally. Oh, man.
And we get it, $30 a bottle now instead of $40.
Yeah,
and,
I know a guy.
Yeah, you can stock up on it. And it'd be quite handy this week. We have Black Friday.
Oof.
Oof. Yeah.
Oof.
It is still the biggest shopping day of the year, although most of it's done online now. In an effort to compete with Temu and Shein. In an effort to compete with Temu and Shein, Amazon Haul has been released by Amazon. It's a website that all the products are valued at $20 and under, and they're currently going through beta testing.
What's beta testing?
It's testing that's only open to guys who drink soy latte and take their wives' last names.
Cool.
No, beta testing it's a step in developing a new program where they release it to a small amount of people to kind of work out the bugs and test it.
Is beta a acronym or something?
If I had to guess, and this is purely a guess.
Oh, be careful now.
So yeah, I might get fried for this. This is purely a guess.
I hope so.
My guess is beta because it's the second phase of their testing. Beta being the second letter of the Greek alphabet. There's alpha, then beta. Hence, beta testing. That would be my guess.
That seems like a very good guess. And if it's not true, it sounds true to me.
Well, if you're interested, you can go search Amazon Haul on your phone, and it will come up in the beta form. There's no word yet on if there's any carcinogenic clothing or live scorpions available.
We did see that on the Temu. I remember that a few episodes back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of shopping, I watched the documentary this week that just blew my mind on Netflix.
Oh, the Buy Now?
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet, but it's in my queue to watch.
I texted you immediately. I'm like, you have to watch this.
Yes.
It's called Buy Now, The Shopping Conspiracy.
I have a couple days now after we finish this. I'll definitely be watching it before the end of the weekend.
They actually talked about Amazon in there and how Amazon came to be. And the whole purpose behind it was for their, e-commerce to be able to be there in your next shopping moment. That was kind of their motto. And it would reduce your time to critically think about your purchase. So, for example, if I'm laying on the couch and I'm feeling the pillow is a little scratchy or something, and I'm scrolling through my phone, oh, I want a new pillow. Oh, here we go. I can buy it. Boom. I don't even have time to think about it. It plays with your mind.
Well, I mean, that's kind of been happening for a while, right? But now this kind of really just exposes it to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all knew it was happening, but we didn't really know to what extent and how. And when they bring it out, you're like, holy shit, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the other thing they were looking at different colors to see if they colored in their free shipping a different color, which would make you buy more. They also exposed some of the companies like light bulbs, for example. Did you know that light bulbs have a planned obsolescence?
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
It means that they have a planned lifespan. Like, at one point, they have to become obsolete. They would die.
Isn't it always been that way?
It has not always been that way. Funny you say that. Like, what happened was the light bulb companies were losing money because once someone had a light bulb, they had no use to buy another one unless they bought another light.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So they started making it, saying, well, we're going to make them last a couple years. You see that now with fridges. Fridges, like the old fridges were friggin' tanks. They would last 30 years. Now you get 5-6 years out of one. Your phone, like I talk about this all the time. If you got a phone and you're on a payment plan, or to pay the thing off, as soon as you're ready to pay it off, time for a new phone. It's all messed up now.
Yeah, it's glitching. It's not working as good. I usually say that. I'm having problems with my phone. I guess it's time to buy a new one.
Yeah.
So it's purposeful.
Yeah, and actually, the other funny thing they expose about the phones is that, you have these companies called like iFixit, where they'll fix your phone for you, and they've started making it where they've replaced different screws where it's very difficult to find the right tool to remove the screws, or they've even glued some of them together so that these companies can't go and take them apart and repair.
The actual manufacturer of the phone is identified that companies like iFixit are in the secondary market, and they're trying to now say, no, we don't want you fixing it because we want them buying a new phone. So now they're changing the way they make the phones to make it more difficult for the secondary market to generate any of the income. Wow.
You know what's
That's
scary is it makes you think, like, how long before the automotive industry starts doing that?
Oh, yeah. So where do you stop?
Yeah.
Airplanes.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, it's a moneymaker, but, man, it's a dangerous one.
Yeah. Guns. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. They also showed some of the retails, like the high-end retail stores, like Louis Vuitton, for example. They had all these purses, and there was just slits and slashes in them. They're all thrown in a dumpster. And they would do that when they got to the end of a model run, and they didn't want a surplus because they didn't want it to cheapen the brand. They didn't want it to end up going out to off to outlets or things like that where people would be buying it for lesser money because it would cheapen their brand.
I understand that.
And then they could just write off the losses.
Yep.
Yeah, it was interesting. Another Netflix thing. Netflix has been doing some live things and not really working out too well. Did you watch that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight?
Not only did I watch it,
if that's what you want to call it, by the way.
I was infuriated. I watched it because they did. I will give Jake Paul a lot of credit. Leading up to this fight, the one thing he is good at doing is marketing.
Yeah.
And I feel like he fucking pulled off one of the biggest fucking scams that we've ever seen. I guess I'm just so pissed that I didn't come up with something like this. Like, to get everybody, I hadn't been excited to watch a boxing match probably since Mike Tyson himself was in his heyday, because those were just unbelievable to watch. And I didn't want this fight to happen because I want to remember Mike Tyson the way he was. And it was, if anybody who saw this fight realizes it was an atrocious fight. It was hard to watch. Literally not, it was hard to watch not because of all the issues that they were having in the service and the buffering, but it was just hard to watch from a fight standpoint. A 60-year-old man versus, Jake Paul. But I do have to give Jake Paul credit. The marketing he did and the buzz that they created, it pulled some big numbers.
Yeah, I think they had a $20 million gate.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they both fighters were getting paid big bucks for that shit fight.
Could you imagine me one of the guys? They had a handful of seats live there that were $2 million package. Can you imagine that?
That's ridiculous.
I mean, first of all, paying $2 million for one event, I can't fathom to begin with. But then to pay for it and then just have it be a shit show like that,
not good.
But yeah, back to the buffering and all that. I mean, there were a lot of jokes out there, and it reminds me of they were comparing it to Mike Tyson's Punch Out, saying, "Oh, this is more realistic." And to be honest, I wanted to pull the cartridge out and blow in it.
That's funny.
It was awful. And I guess we weren't the only ones who thought that, because somebody has actually filed a class action lawsuit against Netflix for this.
Right.
Which
there's got to be something else there. I mean, who the fuck would want to go through a headache of suing over something that was free in the first place? I mean, unless
Yeah, I don't know what the rub is. Like something is strange there because why would you want to go through that? And what are you getting out of it?
who knows? It's got to be something. If they feel it, maybe it'll just be a settlement to kind of put this aside. But it was frustrating to watch, and I continued watching it even through those buffering issues. But it was extremely frustrating. The fight sucked. Everything about it was bad, except for the marketing leading up to it.
Yeah. Did you watch the documentary leading up to it?
No.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. It followed them along through their training process.
Okay. I've been following them both through social media along that, but I probably would watch that because I enjoyed watching, Mike go through his camp of, preparing for it.
Yeah, that was just another part of the marketing. It was very smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This guy who's suing, maybe he just has a ton of money. He doesn't care about the money. Maybe he's just trying to set a precedent like, hey, you kind of ruined my evening and you're not going to do it again.
I'm not surprised somebody's suing in this litigious society that we're in. And I don't feel bad for Jake Paul and the people at Netflix for getting sued after that shit show, but we'll see how that unfolds.
Well, Jake Paul got a start as an influencer, and there's another local influencer here in the news. Her name's Marlena Velez out of
Cape Coral.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
saw this.
she's got quite a few followers too.
Couple 100,000.
And you said she does what, lifestyle?
They're kind of like lifestyle posts, like watch me while I put my makeup on, or come with me while I go to Target and go shopping. She doesn't have a TikTok shop or any merchandise that she's selling, which is odd when you have that much, that kind of social media community, if you will, that many followers. Usually you'll offer some type of item or something through your TikTok shop, but she just doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. So she just kind of, I think they're called lifestyle posts.
Okay. Well, this particular one, she did come with me to Target.
Yes.
And she went and she grabbed several items and took them to the self-checkout. And it turns out they found out later she was scanning barcodes for cheaper items, resulting in her stealing a total of $500.32. Do you know what the threshold is for a grand theft felony charge?
I'm going to guess 500.
$500.
Wow. Marlena, come with me while I go to the Marcino Motel for grand theft charge.
And might learn something there too, like not being a fucking idiot.
What a dumbass. And the one that she got caught on doing this in Target, you can actually see her lifestyle posts of her going to Target that day, picking all the items, like a Stanley, fucking just buying a bunch of shit that you don't need.
Yep.
Showing her, scanning it, putting it in the back of her truck, and then I guess she was caught during this, but it was all documented, which begs the question, is this for publicity? Or is she just, is this a sickness? Like,
well, you've watched it. You've watched it, so now if you've watched it, how many millions of other people are watching it just for the sick notion of seeing someone steal something, or just seeing what it all is all about?
Well, the post
right?
wasn't done to say I'm stealing, watch me steal.
Right.
But I think she's just so arrogant of what she was doing that she didn't realize, oh my God, I'm pulling this shot, but I'm going to get caught pulling this shot while I'm on camera, which is the ironic thing, which makes me think, was this done purposefully? Is she like crazy like a fox, or is she just stupid?
Okay, so if let's just say she was, and she got millions and millions of views, are the social media sites obligated to pay her because she did this under, while breaking the law?
I don't know if she would be rewarded off of that post because of it, but I can say I've seen this story make national news. I believe the New York Post, social media, had put out a story, several other ones, TMZ, all these other ones. So it's made national news, which means she's probably going to gain a lot more followers.
Yeah.
And then once you have more followers, you can monetize, your viewership gets monetized. Like I said, you could have merchandise that could be monetized, more opportunities to sell stuff. So
Oh, okay.
I don't think they punish if you have some, meaning if we were making money off our highlights and we got caught drinking and driving this weekend and that made the local news and then all of a sudden our social media platforms started firing up. I don't think that we would be punished on all of our new followers because of the recent, trouble we were in.
So you don't think it violates the terms of service?
I don't.
Okay. Well, you could be right about that. You could be right. Maybe she does have a sickness. She has stolen a car in the past.
That's right. I saw that. 2019, she stole a car.
Yeah. And speaking of cars, have you seen this new Jaguar ad?
No, but you did text it to me, and I was told to watch this while we're on here.
You absolutely need to watch this.
All right, so do you need to set this up, or should I just watch it?
No, go ahead and watch it. I mean, Jaguar is facing backlash over this new ad. There's no cars in it, I'll tell you that.
All right, so here we go.
So here we have all these women and men in brightly colored, mostly dresses.
Oh, that's a man.
There's a few of them.
In the dress?
Yes. But there's nothing to it. And literally all it does is says copy nothing, Jaguar.
Okay, that is probably one of the worst commercials I have ever seen because it's not evident in there what they're selling. Like if there was people out there, younger generation, that didn't know what Jaguar was.
Yeah.
I don't understand the rub. The only rub on this would be to create controversy in the media.
Exactly. I mean, if anything, if they think that, you're going to know what it is, first of all, it's conceit because it's like, hey, we're so fucking big. You got to know who we are.
Yeah.
But, Jaguar could be anything. I'm sure there are other companies named Jaguar.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're facing huge backlash. It's all over social media. I mean, some of the jokes are pretty funny too. But it's being fueled even more by the CEO's response. Because the CEO is basically saying, if you don't like it, you're a bigot. He literally said it's, quote, vile hatred and intolerance if you don't like this ad.
I don't like the ad. I think it's a horrible ad. I hate the ad.
Bigot.
I've been called a lot worse. But I don't understand. So what the CEO is saying that you shouldn't have a fucking opinion?
Pretty much.
Who is the CEO? This fucking loser.
But here's the thing. Jaguar has always been known as a high-end kind of, it was a British car maker, kind of like a car maker to the Royals, almost not quite like Rolls-Royce, but, along those lines, it's just very proper. And now they come with the exact opposite. It's got zero to do with vehicle. Like, is this their Bud Light moment?
Oh, yeah. I hope so. Especially, I'm okay with people pushing the boundaries on their marketing and stuff, but then to double back and say, if you don't like this, you're a bigot. Like, what a fucking asshole to say something like if you don't like the My Architectural Glass marketing, you're a bigot.
I'll tell you what.
I think you're a bigot just for saying that. Like, how? I don't even know what to say. I think it's the dumbest thing someone could say.
I tell you what they get out of it. Not much more than attention.
Yeah.
Because there's already people that are just done with them. But they're getting all the attention. So I guess there's that.
Well, we're talking about it.
Exactly.
But I don't necessarily, I know they say there's no such thing as bad press, but I don't necessarily know that the fact that we're even talking about it is going to tend, oh, geez, I got to go buy one of those cars now. And it's not like it's a cheap car. I got to go out and buy this $100,000 car now because of the controversy surrounding this. Like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know. I know they say there's no such thing as bad press, but damn well if I got on here and said, I want to kick the shit out of every old person that cuts me off here in Florida,
that's not good.
It's not good, right?
That's not good.
I still do. Oh, man. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. I need to rest up so I can do my part tomorrow and contribute a healthy 0.24% to the family's Thanksgiving meal prep.
Oh.
Mostly by making sure my wife always has a full glass of wine.
Well, that's a good husband that you are. And we appreciate you joining us for this latest episode of Hard Hat Highlights. We hope you've had a very good Thanksgiving, and we would be thankful if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, or share. But as always, until next time.
See you then.